Well, all right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Planet Gen X. I'm your host, Sean. That over there is Brian, and we're so glad that you joined us for another week of excitement in the world of two old-ass Gen Xers. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I am pretty well. A lot going on today. Had to take Boo Boo to get fixed today.
Heard that. Yeah.
He is back with us and seems none the worse for wear. Typical Boo Boo. It's all good.
Throw us those buttons.
Throw us those likes and
throw
subscribe.
Yeah,
for sure. We always like when you comment and let us know how we're doing.
Have you seen this? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the algorithm or whatever, but it's Gen X replying to this kid who's like, who let Gen Xers off the hook?
No, I hadn't seen that.
I'll have to throw you some links, man, but we're all just kind of like, look, we dealt with all the same crap as you. The world is falling apart, when we get out into it, and we've just been kind of like over here doing our own thing.
Yeah, man.
But we will cut you, bitch.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to fuck with us. Like, I mentioned, it's funny you bring this up, because I had mentioned the same exact thing to somebody the other day. Like, we're not getting blamed for shit. Nobody's even talking about Gen X. It's all, Of course, a lot of them use boomer way too loosely.
Well, no, I mean, like
to lump us in with the boomers.
Yeah, do get copped into that. But then again, I mean, like, I don't know. I see a difference in like the Gen Xers that are our age and the Gen Xers that are my sister's age, which is like 5 years more plus.
Yeah.
Whatever. And a lot of those in that range, they have a lot of boomer ideology as they get older, I think.
Yeah, I want to say that, like, definitely if you were born in the late 70s, you're going to be more like in our line.
Yeah.
In what we see. And what I can tell online, the general Gen X group is more along the lines of our speed. And I do know some Gen Xers that are right on the line. And you're absolutely right on that. And it's just because of what they got to see when they were growing up, right? See, like, we barely remember the 70s, dude. I like just remember a tiny, tiny fraction of just like seeing Jimmy Carter on TV or something like that,
Right.
So they had like the 60s and whatever, and there's a lot of similarities in the last couple of years. It's just stuff they've gone through in the 60s.
Well, not only that, but when you think about the 60s for you and me, like you said, there's not a whole lot we remember, but people 5 years older than us, they probably remember certain effects of the economy being in shambles, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, because if they were my wife's just a couple of years older than me, and she's probably old enough to remember, the gas crisis or whatever. Well, I don't know. She wouldn't. Nah, probably not, because she was only about 2 or 3. She probably wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, my sister knows a little bit, but she probably doesn't remember it well either because she was kind of young as well.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. We're a different breed, y'all. I mean, like, we had to fend for ourselves. The nuclear family was over, and mom had to go to work, and mom was all by herself, and it was just you and mom, or in some cases,
to get her own apartment, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, the first 14 years of my life was in an apartment.
Yeah.
Moving around place to place, every couple of years or whatever. You build character. Definitely. And we were out on the streets. Like, dude, I mean, like, summertime, I was out on the streets all the time. As soon as I got home from school, I was running all over the place, walking miles down the road to go to a store or something,
Back in my day, we still had pagers in high school.
Shit, dude. I remember when pagers had where you called it and it talked. It said the message. It was like an answering machine. It just talked to you. Those were the early days, man.
Yeah.
I found one as a kid, and I thought on the back of them they used to say "reward if found," and we thought, "Holy shit, we found one!" And we called the number and everything. The dude coming back and didn't give a shit, man.
Right.
Oh, thanks, kids. I'm like, you fucker, you cheap bastard.
Where's my money?
Yeah, no, I mean, he could come off a gumdrop or something, man. I don't know. You know, come off something. Man.
I don't know. I guess that was something different too. I feel like children without some guidance naturally do some evil things, but they're not necessarily evil, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that was something different about us. Is like shortly after us getting into the millennial era, that's when you started seeing it make sense to be afraid of kids, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know what it was, man. I mean, like, we just got thrown to the wolves, man. I mean, there was no choice in the matter. Yeah. You're like, in my case specifically, my mom was off to work all day.
Yep.
And that woman didn't let me stay home from school for nothing. But in the rare chances I did, I mean, like, dude, I was always fending for myself. Like, I mean,
she wasn't going to take off because you were sick, right? She couldn't afford to.
No, man. Dude, there was so many times I was surprised when she showed up to school events because, like, she just couldn't break away from work. So if I got like an award or something, she might be there and she'd have to duck the hell out. I wouldn't get to say, hey, I might not even know she was there. That's happened a couple of times, I remember. But just totally different way of bringing. That's like, and you said like right after that into the early millennial times, the kids that were getting born in the early 90s. Like, I started noticing every kid having to wear a helmet and shit when they were riding their bikes. And that was like my first clue, is like, oh hell, what the hell, man? Now everybody's getting like soft on us and shit.
Well, I don't blame the kids. I blame the parents, right?
Oh, absolutely,
they were the ones that put their kids on leashes.
Yeah, that's when it's okay. See, I'm wrong. I am wrong, and I admit it right here and now. You are correct. That's when it started.
Right.
The kids on the leash. I forgot all about the kids on the leash, man.
You want to turn your kid into an animal, treat them like one, right?
Right. Yeah, and dude, and that you're exactly right. That is when it all went to shit, because the bicycle helmets came next, and then next thing you know, the kids' wallpaper is padded. You know, just because they're so scared something's going to happen to them. It's crazy, man. But it's
what
like
we call helicopter parents.
Yeah, and total pussification of where we're at now. I mean, like, you see, like, the pussification of America. Here it is. Everybody's scared of their own shadow, and scared to let their kids go out. No, and rightfully so. And nowadays, because they've let a bunch of crazy fuckers in here run loose across the country,
all over, man.
Yeah, I hear World War III trending on Twitter today, man. Twitter/X. Because of this stuff, these bombings and stuff. And I think, man, when we were kids, like, we always had, it was not the nuclear thing over our head like it was for the kids in the 60s, but we still had it. And we were
still there. Yeah, Russia was still a threat.
Russia,
man. Cuba.
We were scared to death of Russia, the Soviet Union, actually.
Right.
And I remember, do you remember when Gaddafi went off, man? Like, making threats and shit. That's when I was my most scared as a kid. Like, that was the only big thing that happened to me. Like, Iraq War and stuff, like, I was older anyway. But when Gaddafi went off, I want to say it was like 83, 84, something like that. And it had me spooked, man, because I was like, what's going to happen? But I didn't have any concept of, like, how far away these people were. And, like, nobody had actually ever come to this country and done anything, up to that point. So, yeah, it was a whole different way of looking at things.
Well, I mean, the Eastern Bloc was still a thing when we were kids.
Yeah, you still had the Berlin Wall and all that. We got to see all that come down. And a lot of things changed for the better, man. Like, I remember the 90s just being a really fun time, man. Pretty much, generally, I mean, like, it was the end of the Iraq War. Prosperity, as far as our economy, was doing really well. I mean, you can look back now and see there's some shenanigans, but overall at the time, the general feeling of the time was pretty damn good for most people. The more people I talk to kind of generally agree with that. We've come to find out now how, much of a hill Clinton is.
Right.
We didn't really know that up until the very end anyway, because that's when all the Monica stuff broke out. And, now we're finding out he's probably way worse than that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't know. I often think maybe like I obviously don't want to be as old as my sister, but maybe if I had had like another 1 or 2 years, I would have been right on that prime sweet time of the 90s.
Yeah.
Where, you know, old enough to drive when all the cool shit was going down.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think by the time I was like going to concerts and stuff, that was like the Metallica Black album. You know, that was.
Oh yeah. Like that was literally my second concert, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like my first concert was Motley Crue in '89, and then I saw Metallica on the Black Album tour. That was '91.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was because we didn't even graduate till we were 95, so we weren't even driving till I think I was driving in '93, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't wait, man. As soon as I got my learners, I was in there.
Yeah, you know I was too, bro. I had that old Nova, man. I was right in there. Love that old car, dude.
Anyway, that's, you know, something for the podcast, that what we're about, right? But we do have some other things to talk about.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm glad we did have that conversation, because many times, I think we don't, speak about the Gen X part of it enough.
I agree, totally.
And I had thought about it this week. So apparently you've been in my head through the, what's it called? Oh, shit.
The hive mind?
No, I was thinking of that.
Collective consciousness?
Attraction. Law of attraction.
Law of attraction. Okay.
Yeah. So definitely have some of that going on.
I will say I was in your mind when I saw a short of ours pop up before you even texted me.
Oh, no shit.
So that was awesome. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool, man. It's actually not hard at all to do shorts on the computer.
Right.
All you got to do is just I'll put it squarely, and then you're good to go. We'll keep it under a minute.
So check that out, kids, if you get a chance.
I was like, what can I grab real quick? Or just like make a short and just throw it out there and have that be the thing. I'm actually kind of glad you brought that up.
Conversation for it.
Yeah. I'm very glad you brought that up, because, I had told you, I don't remember if we talked about it on the air or off the air, but I had told you that we were going to start putting the podcast on Twitter, like the following day. I don't know if I told you the following day, but we were just going to put it on Twitter. Like, no sooner had I done that. I've done it twice now, 2 weeks. And I came across some video or something, and it really opened my eyes, and it made perfect sense, because recently, Elon Mr. Beast had a post on Twitter, and Elon was like, oh, you can post directly to Twitter too. And Mr. Beast was like, dude, my videos cost like millions of dollars to make and stuff like that. And I would make like it doesn't matter how like millions I'd get on the X account. It would make a fraction of what I can make on YouTube.
Right.
And I got to thinking of it, and I was watching this thing, and they were even talking about like, you can do what we're doing, because I'm like, they're literally talking about what I'm doing, like posting over there and doing it YouTube at the same time. But then you're stealing away from your YouTube numbers. Like, so in my mind, I'm thinking, well, let's get it out there. People go to YouTube. Well, if they're watching it on Twitter, why the hell do they have to go to YouTube? So It's kind of shooting myself in the foot. Not really the way we need to go. So I'm probably not going to post directly to Twitter. I really don't know how that's going to end up, what we're going to do. So I think, at least for the time being, I'm just going to stick to the old plan, put links to YouTube up there, because that's where we need to drive everybody.
Well, I mean, kind of tangential to that, before we get into the news that you've written down, I guess I'll get into my thing that I mentioned.
Yeah.
We saw Matt Pat give a goodbye video. I don't know if you're familiar with Matt Pat. He's one of the earlier pioneers. He does the game theory, but that's just a theory. I don't feel like doing his voice and scruffing up my vocal cords the way he does it. But he basically did a goodbye video. He's not actually leaving. There's going to be like 9 more or whatever, but it follows in the footsteps of Tom Scott. And this whole thing that I've had a number of conversations. I don't know if I've had it with you, but I'm pretty sure I've had it with you. The crazy schedule you have to get to keep the algo.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
To keep getting picked up, you basically have to have a team. You have to have a crazy schedule, and you have to hit what's hot, right? And I don't know. I find myself wondering if there is a way to combat that, but I'm not sure there is.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, I fully believe that as simple as we're doing this, if you just say something people want to listen to, it can be this simple.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, how do you know? You just have to keep trying. Well, this doesn't seem to be doing anything. Well, let's go in this direction.
Or just be super lucky like Joe or Tiger Belly or whatever, right?
And that's basically it, man. Getting hit by the right group of people. I mean, obviously it's the kids you want to hit first because they just start talking about it to all their other friends, and all of a sudden you're getting up there.
Yeah.
So never let it be said that I don't appreciate the value of the children's watching, even though we drop the cuss words and stuff like that. I don't think we really say anything too terrible. Yeah, nothing worse than I was saying when I was 6 years old.
Right. Well, I mean, at the same time, it's not like, the stuff that we talk about with the kids these days. It's nothing that hasn't been said about our generation or by our generation to our generations.
Yeah. And you have to know that whatever they get on their little phones or tablets is way worse than anything we were exposed to back in the day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it seemed like I had some more point to what we were talking about there. Yeah, I mean, it may be just down to luck at some point, but I think you just got to keep putting it out there. I told you that one guy that just hit it big, Thor, with the pirate software guy. He said he's been doing it 5 years, and he just happened to, I know for one thing, like I got a tip from him on the shorts, like just unchecking a box that doesn't send it out to your subscribers. Because what happens, he said, uncheck this box. Because if you check this box and it says send out to my subscribers immediately, it gets all out to your subscribers, and let's say not one of them checks it out. Well, and the algorithm's going to go, well, Jesus, nobody's interested in this thing, so right out of there. But if you uncheck the box, it puts it right out in the out for everybody to see. Yep, and that's what you want, essentially. So that's cool. And see, so he already knows little tricks. I've seen him talk about other stuff like that. So he's well aware of how to do, kind of work the system a little bit.
I mean, that is super useful to know.
Dude, it's like the one reason I even put that short up the other day, like, because one, they added the monetization to it a while back, but just the fact that obviously it works. I mean, if you got something to talk about and you're interesting, you get your short out there so you can get seen. Maybe your long format stuff will work in there too. Hopefully, that's what you hope for. Yeah. So we'll see. This dude streams all fucking, like, it seems like he streams like 8 hours at a time, dude. He's just sitting there coding, talking. He might be coding a while and then taking breaks and just talking to everybody. But like, he does long ass streams.
Well, I mean, that's been a successful format for a while because that's what made Twitch, right? People who made their 9 to 5 being online.
Right. And that's where he's at, is Twitch.
Yeah. And so it makes a lot of sense to have a long format and then compress that and send it out to other places. That seems to be a very successful model for a number of people.
Speaking of compressing that, I'm about sick of the way YouTube compresses my damn videos, man. It's a bit ridiculous, dude. I mean, squashing it way too much. I'm giving it like pretty nice looking shit with way more bits than it needs.
Yeah.
So, and the only reason I do that is because it's trying to crunch it down so much. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to throw a shit ton of bits at you and hope that you'll, really not knock much off of it. But it's like somebody had posted a meme the other day, and I had put it out there too, that it was like 720p back in like, early 2000s, and it was like a really clean picture and shit like that. And the next one over had 720p in 2023. And it's like all pixelated and blurry and shit. And I'm like, right on. Yeah, I feel you. I really do, man. It's like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? It's like, why are we going up in size and resolution, but the quality is getting worse and worse? I blame AI, honestly, with all the frame gen shit. That's what I think it's at.
Yeah, I mean, it could be AI. It could be the software, separated from the AI, the package and whatnot involved. But
yeah,
it's a definite trend. It's undeniable that, back in the day when 720p was, 1080 was still kind of new, it was much better quality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. So here we are nowadays with 4K TVs, and it looks blurry as fuck. Everything
your blacks don't look black. Your blacks look like a space sky dome too.
Yeah, you better hope you have HDR if you're up in that range, man.
Right.
Oh, I have we have not even gotten close to anything we have written down, which is awesome.
You still haven't told me about your cat.
Well, yeah, Boo Boo's all good, man. He like the boys must be really easy because they said the incision's really small, so he doesn't have to have stitches or anything, so he's all good. Wow. He didn't seem too woozy. He did. It seemed like he had to go to the bathroom in his cage. Like the towel he had was all wet and stunk. Oh God, cat piss, man. Woo.
Yeah.
So I threw that right in the washer. But Boo Boo's Boo Boo, man. He is really hard to flap up, man. Really hard. He is just laid back like the ultimate stoner cat.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a stoner. I don't get any of my animals high. I don't believe in that shit. I'm just saying he's got that mentality. He's big. He's not like fat. He's just huge. And
well, dude, I mean, you're a stoner, and your pets kind of take after you, right?
Yeah, so, I reckon. Yeah, and I raised these like they were like I gave birth to them, man. That's how sweet they are. Like they just absolutely love me and my wife. That's cool. It's nice. I mean, all the cats I've had before had the capability to get attitude, and Moo does too. But she has yet to show it towards either of us. When she was a little baby, she'd get fierce if you didn't get that nipple just right in her mouth, man. And she would go the fuck off, dude. Like no kitten I've ever seen. I thought, man, this cat is going to suck when she gets fully grown, man. She's going to be just a bear to deal with. And it couldn't be further from the truth, man. She is such a sweetheart. So it's just amazing how she was just a fussy little hungry kitten when that she would bite.
You also have to consider their experience before you adopted them, right?
Yeah. She'd bite down on that fucking nipple. Well, dude, they were they couldn't have been more than a week old when the guy found them in a boat. Yeah. So I was like, give me those. Y'all are not going to kill these babies. Go away. You're bad people. I'm very happy to have them. They're the best cats I've had, bar none so far. Even Boo Boo number 1, who Boo Boo's named after, because he was my first male cat that was just so cool. He was so laid back. Boo Boo number 2 is living up to his name so well. I mean, like perfectly. Although he's way bigger than Boo Boo 1.
But, I'm glad they're okay.
Yeah, man. So we do Moo next week. And, being a female, it's going to be a little more, she'll have an incision. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it doesn't, pain her too much. And I get really sad about leaving them at the vets because I think, man, what's going through their little heads, man? Like, why is he putting me in this little box?
I'm abandoned.
I've never been in a car before, and then all of a sudden he's gone. And I'm in this loud ass room, dogs, other cats, other animals of any kind, and strange people around. Jeez, my poor Boo Boo, man. But he's stiff upper lip, man. He held his own.
Man, I don't know what happened to my dog. One of the last times we went to the vet for his yearly shots and everything, he was just freaking out at this vet office for some reason. And, I've taken him to many vets before, and he's been a little shy, but pretty much okay because I'm there, and I'm saying, it's going to be okay, buddy. But they were trying to get his weight. Couldn't get him on the scales, and at one point he just pissed all over me, like a full piss, not just a little bit of nervous. It's like he was holding it or something.
Well, yeah, they always keep a little just in case, right? So they can territory.
Just a little seasoning for the sidewalk.
That's right. Got to keep a little extra on hand. Yeah. Well, I reckon we'll go ahead and just talk about these few things that we've got on here. And I mean, nothing's really in depth. One of them's funny as hell to me. I watched this video the other day of this guy. It was like a few days ago. This guy was like talking about, Ahsoka 2, man. Just don't think it's going to happen. It's all like laying out his whole rap and everything like that. And so I'm like, okay. And I typed up the show notes. I'm like, that was going to be something we'd talk about. Is Ahsoka 2 going to be a thing that's going to happen? And like the very next day, they literally announced Ahsoka 2 is definitely going to happen. So I just thought that would be, there's no details. I think they literally just told all the actors, probably for a lot of the shows, are just now finding out. I mean, you just had the strikes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of getting their back, working 100%. Everybody, I'm sure, getting back to where they need to be, and probably figuring, we'll kick it off in the new year and really just announce all our plans and whatnot once we kind of know what's going on. And I suspect that's why, because like Rosario Dawson was like, I don't know what the hell is happening. Like a few of the actors in different shows were just like, I got nothing. And I said, he's like, and one of them was like, I can't even lie to you. Like, I really don't know shit. It might have been Tamara Morrison. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I do know it's going to either that or Mandalorian and Grogu are going to suffer, right?
Yeah.
They're both like Filoni stuff. And it seems like they're going to be taking place at the same time so far as like studio work.
Yeah.
So you can only be one place at each time, and I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody else is going to be stepping into some shoes and step on some other people's feet.
It's going to be like a Seth MacFarlane production.
Right.
I can't wait to watch that Ted 2 or the Ted TV show. We're supposed to watch some of it tomorrow. But that's like why that what's the name of his space show? Shit. Orville? That's why it suffered so bad. The actors, you can watch videos of them just talking about how like painful it was to wait for this stuff to get written and whatnot, because Seth had to insist on writing everything, which goes back to just what we were saying the other day about, the Doctor Who writers, the producers insisting on writing everything. They're spreading themselves way too thin.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't care how brilliant a writer you are. You're not that fucking brilliant. I mean, you're not going to be able to churn out story after story after story after story. It's going to be just a gem. It's going to be a lot of shit in there.
I agree totally. And sort of on that point, it's you mentioned Seth MacFarlane, and I'm kind of like, I watched Family Guy in the beginning for the same reason everybody else did. Right? It was one of the most offensive shows.
It was edgy.
And there was some real comedy there because it was new. Mm-hmm. But it really didn't update. No, in my opinion. No. At one point, I was just like, okay, the characters have been developed. They have told different stories, but so far as the content's concerned, I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
And I really felt that because I never watched Ted 2, and I finally watched it like last week or the week before or something like that. And I was like, eh.
I didn't hate it. I mean, like, I like it all right.
It was all right.
It's not Ted 1, but
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see how this Ted TV series is going to lay out, because I didn't know that the Orville had even stopped production. Like, I didn't know they were finished. I thought they were like in the middle of a season or something like that. They were still showing. I had no idea. But I watched that show, and it had some great points, a lot of Star Trek parody.
Yeah.
But I don't know where it ended up. I lost track of it, man. I mean, it's one of those that had the same Doctor Who thing where it's just like takes 2 years, 3 years before you get another season. I can't fucking follow that shit, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, between COVID and the strikes, that's kind of everything. So I hopefully, going forward, some IPs will take hold and do really well. I got to be honest, I've been watching season 7 of Rick and Morty, and I'm kind of feeling like they're falling into that same trap. It's edgy, it's over the top, and all that other stuff. And a lot of it is just like, you can tell this is a guy who has watched a lot of media.
Yeah.
And is like incorporating things from that and saying, well, do this instead, or make fun of it, or whatever.
Right.
And there is some original content in there, I won't lie, but there's not overall in the media sphere, so to speak, there's not like really good original IP taking place on like, across the globe or the life cycle of it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, the new may be wearing off, and his interest might be wearing off.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't say. I do know that Sir Patrick Stewart has claimed that there is a script being written for a Picard movie. Now, whether that actually goes anywhere and does anything is a whole other story. But it's nice to hear that Mr. Picard might grace our screens again.
Well, I mean, we are overdue for a TNG movie.
We really are.
Long overdue.
I'm worried that they're not going to capitalize on what they set up at the end of Picard, though, with the whole crew and the new ship and everything. Of course, there's the same videos out there claiming that and it's not untrue that Paramount Plus is in dire straits, and it may affect whether or not we get certain shows. So a lot of people are saying that it's not going to happen, but I sure hope it does, man, because it would really be nice to have like a Trek, I guess, a modern Trek that has characters we know. I mean, obviously it has a lot of new characters too, but like there's some old characters in there that we can still ride with. Like, if Patrick Stewart's tired of doing it so much a year and some of the other guys don't want to do it so often, fine. Well, this other crew wants to. Let's have it, man. But, they did the same thing with Strange New Worlds, claiming it wasn't going to be a thing. And I said, bullshit. You already cast everybody that was important. In the Discovery, when they used them in Discovery, you already built this beautiful Enterprise set. You've already got the asset in 3D rendered out and ready to go. So bullshit. I call bullshit on it all. You're making a show. I can feel it. And I was right, ultimately.
Well, I mean, I feel like this would be the perfect time to do AI right? Have an AI Picard, pay him what you're going to pay him to be, the major focal point of the series, the main star, pay him what you're going to pay him, have that step in just for this. Any future deals would have to be between the actor and the studio or their estate, whatever. But this, I don't know if you saw the big stink with the AI George Carlin.
No.
They're trying to do an AI George Carlin I guess, show or whatever.
Right.
And I think it was his daughter. It may have been his granddaughter, but somebody wasn't having it in the family.
Oh, well, they're all being a bunch of hypocrites about it anyway, because not only did right after that SAG-AFTRA the thing was over, like a bunch of voiceover talent for games and stuff like that went and made deals with AI companies and shit. And it's like, what the hell, dude? Like,
well, I mean, I will say that they kind of had to, because there were a lot of people who crossed over, right? There were, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there were a few instances over the past year or two during that time where these established voice actors who had taken these roles in the past got shooed out, and they just brought in somebody else new that they could pay a whole lot less.
Yeah. I don't care for that too much at all. But I could probably find myself in that position one day.
Right.
You never know. But so I'm looking forward to seeing some good old Star Trek. I can't wait for another season of Strange New Worlds, Discovery. I can give and take it, but I don't hate it. I'm just not crazy about it. It's probably not unlike I felt about it. I used to not care for Deep Space Nine for like 3 years, 3 or 4 seasons. It wasn't until Worf came in that I really went for it. But then now when I go back, I'm like, bro, Deep Space Nine is chef's kiss, one of the finest shows from beginning to end. I mean, like, it's rough in the beginning, but dude, from beginning to end, there's so much great, rich stories in there.
There is, and that's the thing. It was more space opera than the others.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Kind of leaning more the Bab 5 type of, not production necessarily.
Well, space station type deal.
Yeah.
It's like having a world in space, or like a large aircraft carrier or something that can hold a shit ton of people.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us just weren't ready for that, right? We wanted to be in the ship.
Right.
We wanted to,
well, everything we've had up until that point,
engage.
yeah, was like a ship going off into space to explore and get into strange, fucked up situations. You know, and then the captain fucks an alien.
Right. Or 80.
Right. And so, yeah, it was a very different deal. But I was such a Worf fan, man. He brought me to it. I mean, I was like, I got to watch for Worf. And I just was like, man, this is good stuff. And now I just swear by it, man. Anybody that poo-poos the first couple seasons, I'm like, you're just not watching right. You're missing some great stuff in there. I would love to just have like a whole DVD series or however you want to package it digitally or whatever. Just a whole set of the Ferengi stories are brilliant, man. They're so fun with the Negus and every time he visits or whatever they go to the homeworld and Quark and Rom or, you know, getting up to shenanigans. There's just some brilliant stories. I love the Ferengi.
Yeah. They are some of the more interesting characters in general. And I think that's one of the good things that they capitalized on, because throughout most of anything, it was either, you know, the Ferengi, we don't know about them that much, or, hey, here's an alien race that is made to represent every stereotype of Jewish people ever, right?
Yeah, no doubt. But true. But yeah, so wait and see. Coming down the road, might have a Picard movie. Never know.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. So one last thing, it looks like, because you can get on Steam and check all kinds of like uploads for updates and stuff like that. I don't know how to do it, but people do it, and you can see the activity for a Cyberpunk these guys are looking at, and there apparently is going to be a pretty. These guys seem to think it's not going to even be a hot fix, like it's going to be a patch,
right?
That is probably pretty significant, and FSR3 is likely going to be one of the main additions to that, which will make a lot of people happy. Especially
well, if I'm not mistaken,
NVIDIA
they still haven't finished the Buddha statue puzzle.
I don't think so. Yeah, because I think one of the devs had commented on that the other day,
right,
in relation to this latest news.
And they got to do it before the end of the life cycle, man.
Yeah, and because Cyberpunk 2 is now officially out there, it is being made, and it's codenamed Orion.
Orion.
I just wish I had some, you know, could put this on YouTube with Metallica's Orion coming swirling up in the background right now. Y'all just imagine that in your head, or go turn it on, you know, go swap it real quick. Right when we're about to go, just back it up a little bit, and then knowing that we're going to say Orion, you just go ahead and play it, and it'll give you the same effect.
Yes.
For all my Metallica fans out there.
Or just listen to that entire album.
Yes, Master of Puppets is the definitive Metallica.
Agreed.
End all, be all of Metallica. That was their finest moment, man. You know, fucking Cliff's last year, man, was a phenomenal basis. Robert Smith Slouch, man. There's nobody come closer than to Cliff than Robert. He's got the chops for sure. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I need to get more into some Cyberpunk. I'm not been gaming very well.
I haven't either.
And I've got these new games. Got the Fallout 3. I got the Grand Theft Auto 5 stuff I can play. I've still got the Red Dead Redemption 2 I haven't messed with. I've still got Cyberpunk I still need to mess with. I'm flying still regularly, obviously, but I don't know how long with this group of mine, man. I got one other dude, man. I just don't want to just like pretend I'm not there and shit. It's like, dude, you don't want to start another one with me because you're the motherfucker that did some fucked up shit. I should be the one like not talking to this motherfucker, but somehow I'm the bad guy. But whatever. So I don't know how all that's going to play out, but I enjoy flying with people, talk to them when you're up in the air after a long flight. It can get a little boring.
Right.
So, you know, you like to talk to people. And I quite enjoyed this group up until recently when people just started becoming assholes. I don't know why. Maybe
I'm in a similar boat with you on the games. I did the first big battle in Baldur's Gate 3 before you get to the first town, and I haven't touched it in a week since or something like that. Haven't touched Cyberpunk since the last big update.
Wow.
So I really want to get back into the Cyberpunk world. It sounds like or it seems like it's going to be fun to get back into. Possibly, we'll see. And like I said, I really miss some of the old functions from its first iteration.
Well, wait till this patch comes out and then try it again, because I know there's some stuff you'll probably want to use that's broken right now. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I just know some stuff's broken.
Yeah,
I do know that. So this patch will hopefully address those things, and that's why, because a lot of people said that last huge patch that just came out was pretty much going to be it. Yeah. But man, I got to give them credit, man. CD Projekt Red is on top of their game. They're really, really making this worth every penny you spend on it, and even if you bought it a second time.
Well, they did that. It's not the same, but it kind of is with The Witcher 3, right?
Yeah, when they redid it.
Yeah, they redid it. They released bountiful DLCs. One really great, or actually two great storylines, but one that was really deep in the map aspect of it, I guess. Yeah. And I think that's something that they probably need to keep on in future endeavors, just to get the love from the gamers and be like, yeah, okay, here it is. If we mess up during crunch, we're going to fix it.
Sure.
But once it's released, we're going to continue to give you stuff you want in this world.
Yeah. Dude, that game has just changed so much. I love looking at the old, the videos comparing what was out originally in the old betas, and seeing it now, it's just like, wow, dude, it's so cool to watch it, how it's evolved. And you got to say, it's definitely, we talked about it before, it's definitely a model that works. People love certain games. It's not, I wouldn't say this could work for every game, but you just look at the success of Final Fantasy VII and its remastering. Now, I take umbrage with the fact that we have to wait so fucking long for, each iteration to come out. Like, the second iteration should have already been out by now. But here we are. It's not out yet. It'll probably be another damn year or so. And then you still got a third one you have to wait on. But there's other games out there like that, man. Because like a Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that could benefit. A couple of them, like 2 or 3, could benefit from like an update. 3 would probably be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just there's all kinds of stuff like that. So I can see where some games, if they take off, maybe that's what you decide to do with it. Just kind of keep polishing it up. And 5 years down the road, when you can do better textures, of course, I can imagine at some point, man, it's probably just gonna. Once we get to full on realism, what else you got?
I mean, I don't know. I still feel like we're a long way off, personally.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, dude, but it's certainly jumped in growth big time since just in the last 10 years.
I completely agree. Even less than that, I would say 5.
Yeah, 5 for sure. These cards, man, that are coming out are just ridiculous. I remember NVIDIA making a bold statement back in the early 2000s about how they would have full rendering, like full motion, real-time rendering.
Yeah.
And I think they may have said 2030 or may have said 2020 or something like that. And some, a bunch of the effects houses were waiting and going, but I think Pixar was one of the biggest ones that were like, that is horse hooey. That's never going to happen. And I'm here to tell you, man, it may not, I can't remember what year they said, but it's going to happen a lot sooner than I think the old guys at Pixar ever thought it would. Because you look at how many computers it takes in a render farm to render out one frame, and how long it takes them to render out a whole movie of that size, of that rendered size. And it's impressive. So, it's probably blowing their mind to think that they could get that on the fly.
I imagine it is.
Here we are. Because, I mean, it's happening now. It's just not quite as good as you can get with something that is rendered the old-fashioned way. But it's close. It's getting there, dude. My fucking flight simulator is, I mean, dude, to the untrained eye, if you just walked up on somebody, you'd be like, damn, well, that looks like you're watching a video.
Right.
And after you watch it for a second, you can probably pick out things, that the eye expects to see, the way shadows work and stuff like that always throw that kind of thing off. But there's a lot of, UE5 is going to change things.
For me, it's always trig. It's all about motion and angles. That's when I see fakeness.
Yeah. But if anything, it's going to be like a combination of UE5 or N6 or whatever down the road, and NVIDIA / AMD, because whoever's left, still doing it at the end of the day.
All right.
I don't know how long NVIDIA is going to stay in this gaming game.
Whoever steps in, whatever the case may be.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think all this stuff's pretty cool. But I don't want, a ridiculous power bill either. I want
right.
the speed and the coolness factor, but I don't want to put that much power into it. So I think that's where Moore's Law is going to change. Maybe that's where it changes, right? So you have to figure out a way to still get that speed, but reduce that power consumption. That's where the big change is going to have to be. Because you got to be able to get in 10 years, let's just say 5 years. Nah, I don't know. Whatever. 8, 10 years.
5 or 10 years.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. You're going to have a card that has double, 3 times, 4 times the power of like a 4090, but it's only running at 100, 200 watts. Yeah. And then eventually it's just going to keep they're getting faster and the watt is just going to get lower. That's probably where it's going to be.
I think most people would agree with you on that. Power consumption has become a bit ridiculous.
It is. Yeah. So they're going to have to address that, man. And they know it. We're up against the wall now. I do not want, to be running 1,000 watts to play a game.
Get a power supply for your computer and then a separate one for your graphics.
Which is not, some people do it already, especially if you're doing the overclocking and stuff. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, man, to have to run that. I mean, we're talking about server power and shit. You might have to just stick a rack in your house. And see how that gets you. Oh, what a nightmare. I can imagine having a power bill with a server rack and all the fans and everything. Oh, God.
Yeah, the noise would kill me.
Oh, man, it would sound like a fucking aircraft taking off. Them things are brutal, dude. But, shit, that's really all I got, man. Then ended up, we freestyled so much there at the beginning. It was just like a lot of chunk. I thought this was going to be like a short episode.
I did too, but we just laid into it.
That's what you do, man.
We got some Gen X content though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm happy about. And it's just stream of consciousness, dude. We were just laying it out there. Yeah. We're going with the flow. I love that kind of thing. But we hope you loved that kind of thing too, because if you didn't, then we're having to rethink all this fucking shit again.
Start over.
We got to start over. Damn it, they didn't bite. Well, we thank you so much for watching us, man. We really do. You guys are helping keeping us going, and we appreciate it. So until next week, we hope you all stay cool, stay warm. A lot of us down here are going to be cold as fuck next week.
Yeah.
So until then, as always, be excellent to each other. Yep. And we'll see you on the flip side. All right?
Thanks, everybody.
Peace out.